Welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is episode 58. I almost screwed up.
Yeah, no, but you got it. You nailed it.
Because I looked at my notes and it said free agents number 7, and that really messed me up.
Yeah,
but
758 are pretty far apart.
Yeah, it is. And you know, if you've never been with us before, this is a boys' night. Well,
and there's a special song for that, which you just heard, because when it's a boys' night, we like to get a little metal around here.
Yeah, that's from a royalty-free website, and I'm pretty sure they're foreign from somewhere. I don't know where. I found it a long time ago. Jake and I had to do a boys' night episode.
It's episode 3.
Yeah, so like 3 or 4 weeks into doing this. Yeah. And we decided to do that and get a little bit heavier music, and that's when we accidentally started talking about music a little bit, and then people are like, hey, I like hearing you guys talk about music, and so that's why we started doing music recommendations at the end of other episodes.
But then someone left a review on iTunes and said, that's useless. I turn it off at that point.
No.
Is that not what they said?
No, they said 4 out of 5 stars.
Because of that segment.
And they're like, get rid of it. I'm never giving you a 5 out of 5 until you stop doing the music recommendations, which, by the way, were the very, very, very last thing at the end of the episodes.
Like, we're talking within the last 5 minutes of each episode.
And after we get done with everything challenge related.
Yeah.
Shout out to that guy.
Yeah, man, hey, you know, you got your own opinion. It's fine. Shout out to you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the downloads, but what can you do? You can't please everybody.
Again, we have a lot of people reach out that were like, hey, we like hearing what you guys talk about, you know, movies and music related, things like that. So we put those at the very end. So if you don't want to listen to them, just turn it off.
Well, here's the thing.
Which actually, we're not even doing them anymore because we're in off season.
Right.
We'll pick it back up whenever the new season starts, season 34.
But the thing I've found in the challenge world, now being heavily invested in it for a little over a year now.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, in the social media side of things.
Especially that, but it's found out pretty quick. Someone's always triggered, as the kids like to say these days. Do you ever get triggered? Do you even know what that means?
I am only triggered.
Only?
Yeah.
So right now?
Yeah, it's on and...
Explain to me what being triggered is, and how do you get there?
Man, you know, like I said, I'm only that. So it's just it's a lifestyle for me.
Yeah.
And, you know, basically you just got to wake up in the morning and think about, hey, what can I be mad about right now?
Right. You're constantly searching for a reason to be mad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
that makes sense.
That's my mantra.
That makes sense.
It's like, what can someone do that shouldn't be a big deal, but I could be mad about? And then that's what I focus on and think about repetitively for like the rest of my day until the next day when I can wake up. And if that's kind of worked itself out, then I will just find something else, even if it's not as big of a deal, but I can make it one.
So, like when Hannah coughs.
Oh, it triggered.
Right there. Because that's a consistent thing around here.
Speaking of, yeah, by the way, I didn't introduce us at all.
Oh, yeah.
Because we got so...
God, I didn't even get to... Okay, do it right now.
Hey, everybody. If you are new here, my name is Zach, and usually we're joined by my wife, Hannah, but she actually is sick today, and...
She tried to give it a go.
She was in here to record, and then she wasn't feeling great, and I was like, hey, if you don't want to be in here, or if you're not feeling good, I'll just read all your notes, because that went so well the last time we did it, and just go on and go to bed, because our niece and nephews were in from California, and one of them was sick with a cold earlier in the week, and I'm pretty sure she caught that from them, because kids are just little germ buckets, and... they just infect you and everything else around them.
Well, and Hannah, you know, carrying out our mantra here, we do it for the kids.
Yeah.
So even if you got to take on a sickness for it.
And she did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where she's at. By the way, we are joined by my best friend, Jake.
And I usually ask everyone, how's everybody doing tonight? So having said that, how's everybody doing tonight?
Yeah, well, I'm triggered. We already discussed that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're a challenge-based podcast, if you haven't picked up on that so far, because we really haven't talked about it yet.
No. Someone's mad because of that. Triggered.
I'm mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm mad we haven't talked about it.
It's been 4 minutes and someone's triggered.
Yeah, 5. Just crossed the 5-minute threshold.
Someone's even more triggered now.
So, yeah, we are a challenge-related podcast, and right now we're working through free agents. As soon as any official announcements for season 34 come out, we will talk about those. We will talk about cast breakdowns when those are released. We don't do anything spoiler related, even though there's a lot of lists and things like that out there. We like to keep it spoiler free because then we can give honest reactions to everything. So right now we are working through free agents, and we'll get to that in a second. Two quick things I wanted to hit at up top.
Hit them with it.
There may be some changes coming.
Here we go. This is exciting.
Yeah, it's not anything bad, but we've got some stuff in the works that we're excited about. We've hinted at some stuff on our Patreon exclusive podcast. Exclusive, I said that weird. And if you're not listening to those, what's your problem? I'm mad about it. I'm triggered about it.
How you doing in that?
And so, yeah, we have Patreon with a few different tiers, and we do Patreon exclusive podcasts. We have 2 separate shows that are Patreon exclusive.
That's right.
One is kind of an off-topic, challenge-related show, and then another one is we're actually watching through currently Rock of Love because you're named after Bret Michaels.
It's true.
And so
it's not a lie.
It's not a lie.
No.
And we're doing that, and it's been a lot of fun, and we'll be continuing to do some more stuff, and then Jake and I may have some other things we branch out and do. We'll get to that in a little bit. Not tonight, but just in a little bit in the grand scheme of things. One other quick thing before we jump into the night. We had someone reach out to us on Twitter, and I'm sorry I forgot your name because I don't have my phone in front of me because we move our phones.
I'll find it for you.
Okay.
Just it's a respect thing.
Yeah. So someone's working back through our old episodes, and they're like, hey, I'm trying to listen to episode 35, which is You're Welcome, which is Hunter yelling that. I mean, I don't even remember what that episode's about, but I knew from the title.
I'll probably said it with a good head of hair that day,
Yo,
too.
don't you dare. You're triggering me. So she's like, hey, the audio's not working on this. And I was like, that's weird. I'll check it out. She's right. Or I'm assuming it's a she.
Lily.
Yeah, that's why I got
Shout out to Lily.
So they were right, and it's on iTunes. The length of the podcast is there, but there's no audio. On Spotify, the length of the podcast is there, no audio. On Podbean, same thing. But on YouTube, it's fine because when we upload the Podbean, basically it uploads a separate file to YouTube, and that's on YouTube servers. All the other sites just pull from Podbean as like a stream. And so those are all messed up for some reason. I don't know why. So I checked all the episodes around it because that was sandwiched between the D interview and then the Wes interview. Right. Those are all working fine. Those would be really bad if those went down. And so I don't know what happened. I'm going to have to like re-upload it, I guess. I still have all the back episodes, so we're good. I guess I would just tell anyone, if you're listening back or listening to anything in the past, and for some reason this happens, just reach out to us because we don't know. We don't go back and download our old episodes. And this may be a one-off thing that Podbean just glitched and it lost it. And, you know, it could have been just today. It may be back tomorrow. Who knows? But I'm going to have to fix that.
Just like you always do. You're our tech-savvy guy. And without you, really nothing gets done around here.
True. You and Hannah talked about initially trying to set up and do the Rock of Love thing on your own.
Well, we were dreaming big.
And then you're like, neither one of us know how to even start it.
I like to think I'm a smart guy, though. I think I could have figured it out.
I'm not saying you couldn't, but have you ever set up any of this stuff to record with?
Nah, man, but you know, you can do anything if you put your mind to it.
That's it. So yeah, that was the only things up top. Again, check us out on social media, at Smashing Heads on Twitter, at Smashing Heads Podcast on Instagram. Just search for us on Facebook. And SmashingHeadsPodcast.com has all of our links, including our Patreon, patreon.com/SmashingHeadsPodcast. And again, we haven't plugged those in a while. We need to keep doing those more often. And also, rate and review us on iTunes. It really helps. It when those 5-star reviews really help to find more audience and more people who are interested in the challenge and things like that. So doing that really helps. So speaking of that, unless you've got anything else you want to get into, don't trigger me.
No, man. You know, I'm just overall, I'm happy with life.
We're all in a pretty good spot right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cool little transitional period into some really cool things, and I'm excited. Who would have thought that the moment I take my focus off of girls and decide to cut them out for a while, things just start happening, man. things just start happening. It's pretty incredible. And, after my personal experience, my dating life has been well documented on here.
Yeah.
I think going forward, my only... Would it be a resolution?
I don't know where you're going with this, so I can't.
It's to just stay away from girls whose names start with the letter A. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
I mean, you're well aware.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, I'm more aware than any of these other people because we gave them fake weird names on Patreon.
Right. Kitty.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kitty, man.
Which does not start with an A.
No.
But in real life, it does.
So, if you have interest in me down the road, if your name starts with the letter A...
Hit the road, Jack.
Too bad. Because these other cats ruined it for you.
Yeah.
Game over. If your name's Ashley or...
Let's think of some more. Yeah. Great. It's just Ashley's.
Ava. You know what I almost said?
What?
Areola. Shout out to Nipple Boys.
Oh yeah, that was a few episodes ago. Yeah. You know what? If someone's name was Areola, I'd give them a chance. They've had a hard life up to this point.
There's an Ariel.
That's not the same.
But you had an
Ola.
Ola, and you have an areola.
Great. That's a quote to live by.
Yeah.
So let's get into Free Agents episode 7. Again, what we're going to do, Jake and I are going to give our notes back and forth, and then I'm just going to do a lightning round of Hannah's notes at the end.
Which is everybody's favorite segment.
Because she writes very differently than you or I do.
Well, she thinks differently.
Yeah.
Honestly.
No, 100%. Yeah. And so... my notes are very jotty and one or two words just kind of remind me of plot points and things like that. Hers are full sentences about oh, I can't believe that they did whatever. I don't ever write anything like that. So, did you just get a weird text message? Is that why you're looking at your phone strange?
So typically I have my notes up on my laptop, and I have my phone on me with my notes, and now my dad texted me something weird who showed up on our Patreon pod not too long ago.
I'm pretty sure I literally just asked you, did you get a weird text message or something like that? And you're like, no, my dad just texted me something weird. We'll run the tape back on that.
Yeah.
By the way, did anyone ever figure out why I told that story last week?
God, and I listened back to it.
And you still didn't get it? Okay.
No, I got it. It made sense, but I don't remember now.
Great. That's good podcasting. So we're going to get into Free Agents episode 7 tonight. Woo-wee. This is the episode they've been building to for about 4 episodes now.
Yeah.
They've been teasing the or Bananas, not Johnny, because there's Johnny Riley. The Bananas and Jordan showdown for a while. And then as soon as I saw, I was like, oh, I know what this one is.
Yep.
And this episode kind of starts off with Jordan and Laurel just being together and people kind of talking crap about them. And John A. kind of reveals that in Rivals 2, which was the last season and Jordan's first season, that he was like, oh, I'm the Great Gatsby. And I was like, that's a very weird thing.
Well, I don't get that. What does that mean when he refers to himself as the Great Gatsby?
So Rivals 2 had to come out in 2013 or 2014, because this is the end of 2014. Is that when the movie with Tobey Maguire came out? It's got to be around that time.
All right, let's confirm it.
It has to be. I mean, here's the thing. The Great Gatsby is a book that a lot of people in high school have to read. I personally never had to read it. I know it's set in the 20s, and it's about an eccentric guy. I'm assuming named Gatsby, but I've never read it, so I don't know for sure.
2013.
There was a band that was touring with a lot of bands we listened to back in the day called Gatsby's American Dream.
Mm-hmm.
That's about as far into that book as I ever got, and the movie looked really boring, so I didn't watch it.
Yeah,
so that movie had just come out when that was filmed.
May 10th.
Had to have.
2013.
So that was fresh on his mind. I don't get the correlation between him and Tobey Maguire. Was it Tobey Maguire?
It wasn't. I didn't see the movie.
We're talking about something that neither one of us know anything about. Tobey Maguire was in it. I don't know if he was the lead, but he was in it.
Yeah.
So maybe he just really likes Spider-Man, and he thought he was Tobey Maguire.
Why didn't he make a Spider-Man reference then?
There's too many good lines to pick.
Okay. Because whose line is it anyway? Am I right?
No, but that did get me into improv.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, for sure.
Well, here's what I noticed. We talk a lot about Kara on here, right? Rightfully so.
Oh yeah,
it's well deserved.
Yeah,
earned.
This season is well deserved.
All right, so we continue to get a glimpse of super playful Kara.
Yes,
being happy for Laurel being happy.
Yeah, I have a quote. We'll come back to it in a little bit. That it's just weird. Kind of seeing it now.
Because what year was this?
2014.
Okay, so we're talking 5 years ago.
Yeah,
which is a good amount of time.
A lot of things can change in 5 years.
Yeah.
To be fair, we've talked about it at least on Patreon podcast, if not somewhat on these podcasts. We used to all be best friends with your stepbrother.
That's right.
And
he was gone rogue.
None of us have talked to him in 3.5 years.
Didn't even call me to wish me congratulations on my divorce. Nothing.
Yeah, he didn't.
No.
Yeah. So a lot can change.
Yeah.
Hannah's never even met him. It happens.
Wild, man.
So maybe that's what happened with Carl and Laura. Carl.
Yeah.
Carl.
Yeah.
Carl and Laura, by the way.
Yeah. That's good.
That is completely backwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but we just, it sticks out, right, because of what we know Kara as today. Not necessarily
happy.
That and not really being happy for anyone.
Yeah.
Am I right? Like, am I remembering wrong? Like, you look at these past 2 seasons we've watched. Like, when can you remember her being, man, I'm so happy for them? Like encouraging someone,
only if Polly is about
his
to be
wiener's
naked.
out.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
All right.
And that's just her happy for herself.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to add to this.
I was gonna make a wiener joke, but something about throbbing. But
let's workshop that.
Yeah, let's workshop Polly's wiener real quick.
Is that the joke?
No, what kind of joke can we make about?
So, no, this wasn't my premise. You had it, and throbbing was in the wordplay.
All right, so we were talking about Kara
being happy.
Being happy. I bet she is happy when it's throbbing.
That's not a joke. That's just a sentence. We'll come back to this. Okay. Yeah. Which means we will never talk about it again.
Shout out to Polly, man.
Yeah. I've got something to say about him later.
All right.
I don't remember what it was, but I remember watching this episode and be like, I have a correlation to Polly.
Okay.
We'll see if I remember it.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think I made a note. So yeah. Basically, the next thing we see after everyone's talking crap about Laurel and Jordan is Cohutta says, "Hey, I got a text from TJ." Which, do they even do that anymore in the new seasons? I don't think they do.
I don't think so.
They need to bring that back. By the way,
and just bring Cohutta in to read it.
Yeah, he's just a reader.
We got a text from TJ.
That's pretty close,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say that wasn't good, and then like the more it went on, it kind of wound into itself.
You got to turn your mouth sideways. I'm
horrible at impressions.
Can you not put a good country twang on it?
No. In fact, I had someone from our hometown this week where we grew up for almost all of our, not all, but at least half of our lives.
Yeah.
Say, you don't sound like you grew up here.
Right.
And I was like, too bad I did.
Too bad, so sad. Right.
Well, it was a lady.
Okay. Well, you've got German in you. So.
And as we all know, there's no German ladies.
Is there not?
No. There's only men.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. So
prayers up to Germany.
Yeah. I pointed at the ceiling, by the way.
Yeah.
So he gets a text saying something like, "We're gonna have a Uruguayan barbecue or something." I did not realize. I don't know how to spell Uruguay until I tried to write that down, or Uruguayan. I'm pretty sure it was just on the Notes app. It was not a text message. Like someone just handed him a phone with a note on it.
Okay.
And he just read off there.
All right.
Because it was an iPhone, which they used to be all sponsored by like T-Mobile.
Right.
Remember that? Yep. T-Mobile Sidekick.
Yeah.
And so yeah, something about a barbecue. So everyone's assuming eating challenge because we haven't had one of those this season, right?
Right.
And I thought it may have been an eating challenge. I couldn't remember, and then I don't know why I couldn't remember because I saw the thumbnail before we started watching it, and it very clearly shows what the daily is. And we get out there. Well, actually, before we get out there, let's do a couple things.
Here we go. Take us in.
One,
yeah.
Teresa's mad at Devin now.
Right.
Because she said Devin stabbed her in the back because she's like, I never did anything to Devin, but she did the whole thing we talked about a couple episodes ago where she told everyone to fill in Laurel and then changed her mind. The next thing is Leroy just wants to go into the draw.
Because he feels like he has a better chance of just kind of getting through that.
And
way.
I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Like, if you finished in the top 5 of this one, if you weren't the number one person can just pick whoever goes in. Mm-hmm. At least in the draw, you've got like a 30% chance or 60% of not going in.
Right.
Because you could pick one of the other two things. So I kind of get it. And you're not exerting yourself. It's free agents. You don't have a team necessarily. No, we'll find out in this daily there's definitely no team. But I kind of get his reasoning. And then they get to the daily, which is on the beach again.
Sausage Party.
Called Sausage Party.
Yeah.
I don't think that movie was out yet. The animated one with Seth Rogen and all that. But Anissa thinks that title's hilarious. She was the only one audibly laughing when TJ said it.
I got some more things to say about Anissa.
I figured that was coming
later down the road.
By the way, shout out to Anissa.
Yeah, man. Hey,
if you're not following us on Instagram or on Twitter, if you listened last week, you probably heard at some point, even though you may have not have known what was going on, Jake and I tried to put our whole fists in our mouths.
We did.
Because we saw that in the episode on the fun party van, and I went back and screenshotted it. Mm-hmm. It's definitely Jessica and Anissa.
Right. I thought I saw Nani, but I guess I didn't.
It was so quick. I getting those screenshots was tough because it was like half-second glimpses. By the way, as I was doing that, Devin and Anissa were making out.
Yeah, no, I made note of that.
See, I didn't notice that the first time around, and then Preston was jumping in there and with John A. and whatever. But definitely Jess and Anissa, and so I tagged them in it, and I was like, who did it better? And then I tagged them too, and then us, and Jess commented on it, and she tagged Anissa, and who knows? They said they were pre-gaming too hard, something like that.
And let me just say, before I get into my Anissa slander here in a bit, all right? When we talk about, because look, I just do. I feel like I have to preface this stuff because everybody's ready to,
I'm triggered. We already discussed that.
Well, and we know that most of the challenge community are triggered, right? And so I just have to preface again, when we talk about these competitors, there's nothing personal here. We're not attacking their character. I don't have any problems with Anissa, but I'm talking purely as a competitor. When I give my take on her and what she did here later in this episode, it is purely as a competitor.
It's very rare that we legitimately don't like people.
You guys had issues with Paulie.
Yeah.
And then he comes on, and what a sweetheart.
Well, okay.
Maybe a liar.
Yeah.
What a sweetheart. A total sweetheart.
I will say for Paulie's credit, I get why people like hanging out with him.
Yeah.
I do still think he lies about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And we talked about that when he came on. I do think I would not get along with him in a lot of different ways. Like, Papa Roach is one of his favorite bands. No offense to you if you listen to them. We're not on the same wavelength music-wise.
So would you say hanging out with him would be your last resort?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Suffocation.
Yeah. Let's just keep saying the lyrics.
That's the last line I remember.
Really?
I hear the
no breathing.
I hear the. All right. No. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't give up. We're do it for the kids.
Yeah. That's it. It says we're do it for the kids. So yeah. Again, I really do we've actually talked with Paulie recently on Instagram. I've messaged him back a couple times. He does joke around. It wasn't anything bad, and we've talked about a few things. He is a nice guy.
Super nice guy.
Outside of the show. I mean, he just is.
Yeah.
And I've been vocal about some other people. Camilla for one. Mm-hmm. Just because I don't tolerate racism and bigotry like that, and I just don't like it. Right. And she has a history and pattern of that. However, if I was under the impression from people that are close to her that she's in a different mindset, whatever now, that'd be great. We'd give her a chance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's really rare. We can say some people suck or whatever, or they're not good at the challenge. We talk about Derek Henry. Yep. From a few seasons ago. Not the Titans running back.
Terrible.
Horrible.
Terrible.
He's probably a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And we have no problem with him.
We'd love to talk with him sometime.
Yeah, about basketball.
Sure.
Because he's not good at the challenge.
We don't have a lot of things to ask him about when it comes to the challenge because He sucks.
Yeah. So, but we don't dislike him.
No, man. Seems like a great guy.
So anyway, we'll just keep that in mind whenever you talk about Anissa in a minute. But basically, this is the individual daily challenge. The last 3 players, guys and girls, in each round go immediately into the draw. So one thing I did point out, which I think you notice a lot, maybe not in the challenge, Hannah notices stuff like this. I never do. But Kohuta's lips were very chapped and like had open sores on them.
I told you guys last week he had them cold sores. Yeah.
Okay, well I saw it this week.
I didn't see them this week.
I did.
They were particularly rough last week.
They were out on the beach and it was like windy, and I was like, oh, I bet that hurts.
Yeah.
And it just looked like, you know, like when you sleep and you like wake up in like the middle of winter, because in Tennessee at least, like there's no humidity and like your lips are just like chapped. And they like split as soon as you move your mouth.
Yeah.
It hurts a lot. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
And so that's I did notice it this week, and I haven't noticed it any other weeks.
Well, if you notice, like he rolls his lips a lot. It's like he's trying to like
peel the skin off of them or something?
I don't know.
Or keep them wet?
This is the kind of breakdown we do here, man.
Yeah.
We're breaking it down all the way to the lip movement.
So basically the girls go first. You watched the show, but I'll tell you what they did. They wrapped them all in saran wrap. They have to go through a bunch of condiment. It's a relay race. Kind of a throwback as far as it's a goofy daily challenge, but like you got to win.
Devin tried to make a stripper joke.
She said something about boobs in a pole.
It just didn't land.
Yeah, so
it wasn't funny.
All right, so speaking of that,
I bet you Hannah thought it was hilarious. Am I right? Did she
I don't know. We'll read her notes in a minute
because we know.
Well,
we had to cut off her Devin talk last week.
You did specifically.
I did.
So speaking of Junkmaster Jake.
Okay, is that me?
Yeah. So how's your poly throbbing joke going?
I want it to land, right? So just let's keep moving and let me.
So she did make a joke about boobs and poles and how she thought they would go good together.
And it just,
it's like one of those things where if like a robot like had to make a joke and it was like, oh, these are related, this will make sense, but it didn't really. Anyway, they're going. Laurel's killing everyone the whole time. Then Kara kind of catches up, and at one point Kara says, "This is a best friends race." That was the note I wrote down for that.
Okay.
Because again, it's 5 years ago. I don't think she would say anything like that anymore.
No.
I don't think she has a best friend anymore.
Well, because just like you, she's triggered all the time now.
Yeah. And so, again, she was just playful and, whichever one of us wins, it doesn't matter because we're not going to throw the other person in, whatever. Laurel wins. I didn't even write down who was in last place, but it was like John A. and
Nani and Devin.
Okay.
The bottom
I knew it was Devin. I couldn't remember Nani.
And then I just made note that Jess finished third.
And she started off really bad.
Yeah.
They like cut to her on her own, just like not moving, not doing anything. So shout out to Jess, fist in the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. That probably pushed her forward somehow.
Right. Gave her a little boost there.
Yeah.
It's like a power up.
And so they go. I'm not going to read all the places. One, because I don't want to. Two, because I didn't write them down, so I don't have that information. I do know Anissa finished 5th. And she was mad because she was like, oh, they've got to pick from the 4 that are left over, and it probably will be me. Which we get down to, and it was.
Hey, all right.
So she knew what was coming. So this was the challenge that Devin did ruin her weave.
Which it's a shame that Han's not here to.
I can guarantee you there's notes about Tamara. Is that it?
Tamara?
That was what she named the weave.
Oh, is that what she named it?
She was like, poor Tamara.
Oh, dang, I didn't write it down.
Yeah, because she said that it.
Yep, Tamara. I did write it down.
Oh, okay. So then we get into the guys' heat. There wasn't much else to talk about the girls' heat. Basically, I mean, Johnny Riley wins.
Hey, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Because a lot of the girls were rooting for Johnny. Where's this?
Riley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's this coming from?
Maybe when he was like the stripper at Nani's bachelorette party.
They're still on that.
Maybe. I don't know how long ago that was.
I don't know, man.
I never disliked Johnny Riley.
But he's one of those that, like, you just don't really... God, man, you don't notice, really. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, I can guarantee... I bet there's a lot of people who watch these seasons and, like, have watched a bunch before and a bunch after, and, like, they'd have a hard time placing who he was when you just say his name.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those. But he's not a bad competitor. Like, he's in pretty good shape, too.
He's kind of middle of the road for me, you know?
He kind of reminds me of if, like, Knight was really good at athletic stuff, like being in the challenge. Well, Knight was a hockey player.
But Knight was a lively personality.
He was, and that was what set him apart and why he was on a bunch of seasons.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't great at the challenge.
No.
But he was good TV.
Physically, he was never really built for it, right?
I mean, he was a hockey player, but yeah, he was not really built for it. Because he was one of those guys that could be funny, but also could definitely cross the line and do something that you're like, oh, that was too far. Which is what you need on TV shows, especially like this. So Johnny Riley wins. Zach is right there with him.
Yep.
And Zach basically gets on the bun and then, like, has kind of a panic attack and, like, hulks himself out of there.
Totally understand.
I understand that. I was going to say, I completely understand that. He said he's huge, so he doesn't like being in small spaces.
I hate it.
I just don't like it. Like, I think...
I hate feeling constricted.
Yes. I think that challenge would make me feel... Like, just watching this and them struggle, I was, like, getting anxiety about it.
Yep.
And I don't like that. I don't like feeling like I'm constrained and I don't have movement or anything like that. Like, Hannah will sometimes want to, like, lay over on me, and if I feel like I can't move my arm, it makes me anxious. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I don't like it, and so I completely get it. So Johnny wins. Leroy, Preston, and Jordan, bottom three. So they're in the draw. Leroy moved maybe 6 inches.
Yeah.
And Preston just kind of gave up, and Jordan wanted to go in the draw.
Said his bones were hurting when he rolled.
Preston.
Yeah.
I mean, he is real lanky.
Yeah.
He's more skin and bones than anyone else there, probably. TJ said everyone's favorite, Preston. So TJ's got a preference for that. But he did say Leroy might have one of the worst performances in a daily challenge. But to be fair to Leroy, he meant to do it.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care.
I don't think you can put that in there.
No.
First and only time TJ may be wrong.
Ooh.
I mean...
You going to tell him about it? I don't think you
I will.
should.
I'll tell him.
I don't think you should.
What are the things called where you pay for them to shoot you a
cameos?
Yeah, I'll just shoot him a little request for a cameo and just have him respond to me telling him that he's wrong.
Are you going to give him any more information, or just, hey, TJ, you're wrong. Here's $85 or whatever it is?
Yeah, and come on the podcast sometime.
Now, we might could do that.
Yeah.
Again, shout out to...
TJ.
Yeah, TJ in general. But Challenge Mania just did a Vegas one, and TJ showed up at it, and some of our patrons were there and got to meet him. And so we saw a bunch of pictures from that. That was a cool show. Like, again, Scott and Derek are doing really cool things.
Yeah.
And, again, Kayla, her boyfriend Mikey, Brandon Nelson, who obviously we love, Leroy, and then he had someone from Big Brother, which I don't know who she was, and then TJ.
I thought she was from the real world.
There was a girl from the real world there too, but there
Okay.
was someone from like Big Brother 22 or 21, something like that.
All right, hold on, real quick,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm trying to land this throbbing
Okay.
wiener. All right, so
That's a very strange sentence in and of itself. You didn't... Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean, but you just said, hey, I'm trying to land this throbbing wiener.
right.
Yeah, all right. I just wanted to make sure you knew that.
Well, so I was going to lean on this Google machine to try to help me out.
So you Googled throbbing
Penis
wiener?
jokes.
Okay. Remember a couple weeks ago you made me Google something and it was just a bunch of naked guys?
Right.
Yeah.
And then I think a couple of listeners Googled it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
And we warned you. Well, let me just ask you, because here's some good jokes. They're like riddles. Okay? Wiener jokes. All right?
Okay.
Oh, dang. Okay, here we go. How many knees do men really have?
What?
How many knees do men really have?
Am I supposed to just give you a number?
Yeah, and then there's like a specific answer to it. How many do you think? Just give me the number.
It's going to not be 2.
Okay. You're not wrong.
So not 2.
Is that your answer?
Yeah.
All right. They have 3.
Uh-huh.
A right knee,
A weenie.
a left knee, and a weenie. Yeah.
I got it now.
Yeah. Okay. Why doesn't a chicken wear pants?
That could go in a bunch of different directions.
Because his pecker's on his head.
I thought you were going to go with a different word that relates back to chickens.
Why doesn't Tom Cruise eat bananas?
Because he's a Scientologist? I don't know.
He can't find the zipper. I don't get that one. I wanted to see
What?
if you got it.
Read it again?
Why doesn't Tom Cruise eat bananas?
Uh-huh.
He can't find the zipper. I guess they're saying Tom Cruise has a banana for a wiener. I don't know.
He didn't say his own.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I didn't make these jokes up.
That is a very flawed premise to me, unless there's something that we just don't know about Tom Cruise. You got more of these?
Just a couple.
Okay.
Hold on. What do you call a well-endowed puppet?
I don't know.
Well strung.
How many more of these are there?
What do you call an erection when listening to hymns?
Hymns? Like H-Y?
Yeah,
I don't know.
an organ boner. I feel real inappropriate doing this.
Yeah, I'm not making you do this. You wanted to hold on and continue to do this.
Well, there's your polythrobbing penis references.
Which still never landed.
Yeah, it's not going to land.
You just ripped off a bunch of other people's jokes. So before we get into the nominations, Zach gives Jordan the idea that he should just flip all the cards over in the draw. That's where it originates. I didn't remember that until we watched it back this time through.
Yeah.
And then CT is like, oh, yeah, let's gas this guy up and play it to his ego and be like, oh, man, that'd be so cool if you did that. Perfect. Like, that's such a smart strategy.
Yeah, he said that Jordan's major handicap isn't his hand.
Yeah.
It's his pride.
Which is 100% true.
Yeah.
Because he's capable of, like, beating a lot of these people.
Yeah.
He just is super arrogant. We've talked about it.
Again, but this is really the only season that super arrogance comes out that I remember. I mean,
yeah.
he's always obviously been confident. There's a difference between confidence and arrogance.
I agree.
This season, he's arrogant.
Yes.
Whereas other seasons, to me at least, he's just extremely confident.
I would have to go back and watch them again after watching Free Agents.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember a ton about Rivals 2 other than the big Wes and CT friendship. And Marlon and him being on a team. And then he did one other one before Dirty 30.
It was one of the X's seasons with Sarah.
Yeah, and I don't remember that one very much.
Yeah, X's 2, I think.
I think... Yeah, I don't remember that one a whole lot, and so I don't remember it on Dirty 30, other than he knows he's a good competitor. But, I mean, Rivals 2, I think they made the final, or close to it.
They did. They made the final.
Yeah.
And then
they were
X's 2, they won.
But they were rookies,
yeah,
like, in Rivals 2, and then he won Dirty 30, so, like, he's got a good track record.
Yeah.
But it almost it'd be pretty ironic if the season he was super, super arrogant was the one that he did the worst in, and then he kind of humbled himself, and that made him better. I mean, I think that's a much nicer way to be on the show. I mean, people would like you a lot more in the house. I mean, he still is going to have beef with Johnny and whatever, no matter what's happening. But basically, after CT kind of lays into that a little bit more, they go out to a club night again at Moby Dick's again. That's the only spot they go to, probably because they just have releases that they can film there. But the only, like, notable thing, I'd say two notable things, and I didn't even write notes about this. One, Laurel dressed how I would want to dress at a club like that. She's just in jeans and a t-shirt and a zipper hoodie.
Just comfortable.
Yeah. Doesn't care. She just won. She doesn't care about anybody else. Two, this is where Anissa starts to, like, kind of try to, like, win her over.
Yep.
And was like, hey, you don't want Jess or whatever. You want me to be there to pick you up, and I'll carry you around. And then it cuts to Laurel, and she's like, this is such, like, BS, basically.
It was so
forced.
Weird. Yeah, like none of her argument made any sense.
It didn't sound genuine. It sounded like, I know I'm up for nomination,
but
let's try to kind of play into Laurel.
What so puts me off is like, you just like 3 episodes ago were like just bashing this girl, man. Like,
yeah, I don't even know if it was that long ago.
Talking about taking her out and everything, like you're not afraid of her, like whatever, and then you curl up in the fetal position. And I get it, like you got to play the game right, but the way you approached it was like you totally flipped. Your mentality totally flipped.
It is weird because, like, if anything, Anissa's kind of whole persona was
being a bad A.
Yeah, and I don't care what anyone else says. Like, I'm gonna be tough and play my game and just take people out. And this was not that.
No.
And to be fair, like Laurel is the biggest threat. As far as like female competitors go.
And shout out to Laurel because she didn't flinch like at any of this, because it was just her whole approach to it was just kind of dumb.
Yeah,
there was no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah,
and let's be honest, there was nothing she was going to say to change Laurel's mind.
No,
nothing.
And, I mean, I kind of like understand to some degree, like you don't want to go into an elimination, so try to work your way out of it. But it was just so different than like what you said a few episodes ago, and even like. One thing that really stuck out to me is we'll get into in a second, the nominations.
Yep.
Like, we can just go get into it. The nominations, she says Anissa, and then Johnny Riley's like, yeah, I'm just going to back her up Anissa.
And she's rolling her eyes. Now she's back into, all right, screw all y'all then. And it's just like this total flip.
When they said it, she just kind of like jumped up and was kind of like normal and happy about it. When the last ones, when people were calling her out in the draw, before the draw, but it was team oriented. And, like, someone was saying her name, she'd, like, say, oh, BS, that's BS, whatever. And it's like, are you just afraid of Laurel, and that's why you're not calling her out about it?
I guess you missed it because, like, when she first said her name, when Laurel said her name, she did roll her eyes and shake her head.
Really? I guess I did miss it.
I'm just like, it's kind of crazy, right? Like,
but she didn't say anything. She wasn't vocal.
No, she didn't say anything, no.
That's what I was writing down, was that, like, she's not calling anybody out because she would have to call out Laurel, and she doesn't want to do that. So Anissa's the girls' vote, and then we come to the guys' vote. Johnny Riley gets to go first. He says bananas, which we see in an earlier scene we didn't talk about because it wasn't very important. Was basically he just said, my buddy wants bananas. Talking about Jordan. And so Laurel just backs him up. She's like, it's nothing personal. I told him I'd follow him on what he said, bananas. And so they put him in. That's when they keep cutting back to the couple weeks before where Jordan keeps saying, I will send you home, talking to bananas, all that stuff. And I can't remember when it happened in the episode because I didn't write it down, but at one point Laurel and Jordan are having a talk, and he's saying like, oh, I just wish she would tell me not to do this.
Yeah.
But she didn't.
Right.
I think they were out on like the deck, like holding hands and talking, and he was like, I think I'm going to do this. And she was like, it'd be kind of cool. And to Jordan's credit, it is a really ballsy thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, I remember my analogy now.
Here we go.
So I told you I had a poly comparison.
Uh-huh.
Do you know where I'm going with this?
Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, go ahead. Do your annual poly bashing here.
Once a year. So, by the way, I just talked up poly 20 minutes ago. But Jordan did talk a lot, specifically to bananas, and then he had his chance to do something about it, and he did. Now, ultimately, it didn't work out, but he was like ballsy enough to go through with it and call him out when he needed to call him out. And if it didn't work out, it didn't work out, and he have to live with that. But he did it. Like, you got to give him credit for that.
Yeah.
Because that was our big gripe with Polly, is that he was like, oh, we had this mutual respect for each other. And then at the reunion, Kyle's like, why didn't you call me out? Like, what's going on?
All right. But if we're leaning on the people who are in this house on a regular basis, when Jordan made that move, if you remember at the end of this episode, everyone in the house was like, that was so stupid.
Well, the guys, like, so Leroy and
CT
and some, yeah, because they're veterans. But when it happened, they were like, that's pretty
yeah,
wild.
You're caught up in the moment, right?
Like they were cheering for it.
But in the grand scheme of things, there's no reason to just throw yourself into an elimination.
So I agree. It's stupid, but it doesn't change the fact that it was like he backed up what he was talking about. You don't ever want to put yourself in a position when you might, and even if it's a fluke, like you might go home when you have a legitimate shot at money, which Jordan was in the final this last season he was on, the only season he was on. So it's dumb. But CT and Leroy and them, they're like, yeah, we know it's dumb. This is only his second season. We've been around for a while. You don't want to throw yourself into those situations. Like, don't be prideful. But I'm still going to give him credit. Like, he did it. He didn't have to.
But I think you can give credit both ways. I think you can give Jordan credit for going through with what he was talking about doing. I think you can give Paulie credit for being like, hey, man, this is about the money. I gotta play this smart.
I agree. And I think I even said that when we were watching through Final Reckoning, or War of the Worlds. Yeah, it's stupid to do it. But if you're going to talk as much as Paulie did, you got to back it up at some point.
Now you're just asking Paulie to not be Paulie, to not talk.
No, I'm not asking him not to talk.
He talks. He's a talker.
I'm just saying back it up. That's all. So, basically, we get into the elimination, and it's Wrecking Wall, which we've already seen. I went back in my notes to look at when it was. It was episode 2. Because I forgot John A. was in the first Wrecking Wall.
Yeah.
And then somebody said, oh, she's already seen this before, and that's when she sent Emily home. And that's also when Frank sent Dustin Zito home.
Right.
And, again, that was 5 episodes ago, so that was like 5 weeks ago when we watched it, because, we're watching these week by week. And it's not an easy elimination, but as we'll see with both guys, both the people that lose fall off, like at some point, because they get kind of too ahead of themselves. And but Aneesa and John A. go first. And, I mean, Aneesa's just stronger. Like, she just is. She's got more, like, mass behind her hits, and, like, she's going to break through that wall easier. Now, if it was just a climbing thing, maybe John A. had a chance, but this was a strength thing, too.
She said, so she ends up winning, right?
Aneesa.
She, there's a couple of things she said. She said she loves a good challenge, which I just kind of topped up behind that. Do you? Because she's trying to get out of the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the whole, more than half the people up there wanted me to fail. And if I heard correctly, more than half the people up there were cheering her on.
See, she said that, and I caught it, but I didn't recall one way or the other who was cheering for who. And so I don't have an answer to that.
From what I remember, and I didn't go back and, like, rewind it, right?
Yeah, I don't do that with these
just
either.
Watched it through the one time, and from what I remember, all I'm hearing are cheers for Aneesa. Otherwise, I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember at all one way or the other. I don't think anyone, like, disliked John A., though.
No.
Like, I think she's kind of like a neutral in the house. Like, people typically like her.
I just think it's a lot of manufacturing stuff in her head, which, to an extent, I understand. You want to, like, manufacture, like, some sort of competitive force in your head. Like, if you got to make yourself feel like the whole house is against you, and that gives you an extra boost, go for it.
But don't you think that, like, if you divided the house and made him choose, like, one or the other, like, I said John A's pretty neutral, but I would say she leans more towards, like, a positive side. If anything, Aneesa would rub people more the wrong way just because she's so, like, blunt about things.
Yeah.
So I would think most of the house would be against her out of those two.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, just personality-wise.
Yeah.
And, like, John A's not a threat to win the thing, so.
Yeah.
If we kind of went back on it, and I don't know what her record was at this point, in 2014, but, Aneesa goes into a lot of eliminations. Now her record is, Statman Paul told us, our fact checker, it's 8-9 now, and that's current as of 2019. But I don't know what it was at this point.
Right.
And so, again, she won. She did.
A win's a win.
Yeah.
And I've said that.
And she took out someone who's already won at this elimination. So it's someone who had a leg up on her.
And I've said that, as much as I'm not a fan of Aneesa as a competitor, I'll still say a win's a win. People like to hate on Ashley for her win on Invasion.
It's not her fault that the season sucked.
A win's a win, man.
It's not her fault that the final was like one of the worst finals.
Because guess what? The two other girls competing in that had to run the same final.
Yeah,
and she won it.
And CT won the guy's side of it. I agree. Like, the final is what it is, and like if you win it, you can't blame the competitors. But this is when we get into the guy's side. It's Bananas versus Jordan, and as soon as that TJ blows that horn, like
bam,
they're like punching, like
one hit, knocking a hole in the wall.
Through it. And by the way, you see him afterwards, his hands all iced up and taped.
It can't feel good, man.
No, dude, have you ever punched drywall?
I have.
Yeah,
right on through it.
Yeah, it's not unbreakable, but like it hurts like to punch it. It just does.
Yeah.
Honestly, if they do something like that again, they need to give them like the gloves like motorcycle drivers wear, because I used to have them, because they reinforce, they have like plastic coating over your knuckles.
Yeah.
So that way, if like a car kicks back a rock at you, it doesn't break your knuckles just because you have them out exposed.
I had a buddy in high school talking about punching walls, playing on the basketball team, and right before, like a week before the season started, there was some little uproar between him and a teammate, and he punched the wall. But it's like one of those cement walls, right?
That's so stupid.
Broke his hand, out for the season.
Yeah. Yeah, like I never was one of those people. I never like lost my temper and punched a wall. I've just punched drywall when it's like random sheets of it to see how hard it is to break.
Yeah.
A handful of years ago, you remember Amari Stoudemire?
That's right.
When he was on the Knicks,
yeah,
he punched a glass case of a fire extinguisher and like sliced his hand to pieces.
Yeah.
People forget that glass is really sharp when it breaks.
Yep.
And he was like cut from one side of his hand all the way to the other. It was like 20 stitches or something like that.
Bill Goldberg, WCW, punched a car window out. Had this big angle going on with, I think it was Hogan, Hulk Hogan at the time. And he punched the glass out in the car and like cuts an artery all up. He's out for like a year and a half.
Oh, so actually that happened in, I haven't seen the movie. I'm 99% sure it was this movie. But the one with...
I like how we're just running through bad hand punching incidents. Yeah,
Ryan Gosling and what's his name, Russell Crowe.
Okay,
they were in it was like called The Good Guys or something like that, set in the 70s. Like Ryan Gosling like punches through a window and he like legitimately like cuts himself and like he's bleeding a lot.
Yeah, and
they had to like stop and like fix it. You're supposed to use tempered glass and stuff like that, so it just shatters.
Yep.
But yeah, don't punch glass, don't punch walls. It's dumb.
Yep.
Like, there's no benefit to it. No one's going to be like, that guy's cool. He did it.
Well.
Would you say that? I know you've punched a wall out of anger before.
Yeah. I guess it depends on the circumstance, right?
Did you think Goldberg was cool?
I always thought Goldberg was cool.
But when he did that specifically?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, anyway, they're blowing through these. And going back to CT's thing, I mean, Jordan, we're not saying anything about him. He physically does not have part of his left hand. So he doesn't have a glove on that hand. Like, at least on his right hand, he's got a glove. So he's having, like, punched through that. Like, that's got to hurt. That's got to not feel good. And in the edit, they make it look like it was a lot closer than what it was. But when they show the replay of Jordan falling off at the end, like, Bananas is, like, 6 inches from the bell. Like, his hand's reaching out to slap it. So it was not as close as what they made it look. But, I mean, it was a good effort. They were, Jordan was probably 2 feet away. But he fell off. And, his pride got to him. I will say, at least on the kind of wrap up the congratulations, like, they did kind of shake hands and were like, hey, good job. Which I didn't expect him to do that. Just because they both are kind of dicks and have, big pride.
Yeah.
But, I think they both can kind of agree, like, they both got in the moment. And, it's just a competition and, one lost and one won. I would have liked to see what it would have been like if Jordan won and Bananas lost, because I feel like Bananas wouldn't have shook his hand or anything.
Catch Bananas post Rivals 3, he probably would have done it, because Bananas has been quite the loser in elimination since then.
Yeah. Some people say it was a curse, but again, I still think it's one of the best moves in reality TV just from an entertainment standpoint.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of like played out, like we all know. I don't like that twist anymore.
Yeah.
But Jordan falls. TJ was like, "Hey, that was pretty crazy what you did, pulling all those cards." And his quote was, "I can't make myself a liar."
But kind of did.
Well, yeah. I mean, he did in some sense because he kept saying, "I'll send you home."
Yeah.
And he didn't.
So still a liar.
Yeah. But he didn't lie about pulling the cards when he said he was going to.
Yeah.
Also, we kind of get a confessional from Laurel, and she's like legitimately crying.
Well, we've said this about her. When she gets in these relationships on here, it's real weird.
She change.
Yeah, because she's such an alpha, right?
Yeah.
Like, otherwise, she's just this dominant force, this not afraid of anyone.
And doesn't care how you feel.
No.
Yeah.
And then, like, it's like she saves up all her emotions for her relational type stuff, her relationships, because it is different. It's like a totally different side of her. And at one point, like, you know, they get back in the house and, like, you know, Bananas is all, like, up in arms because I guess him and Laurel are supposed to be tight to some extent.
I think it's like that veteran, like, oh, we've been in a lot of these together.
And, like, she I don't remember if she said it in, like, a confessional, but she said what I had with Jordan was real.
It was in the argument. She was like,
yeah.
Because Banana says something along the lines of, hey, I think he's playing you. Like, I don't think he had the best interest. He just was like, what girl can protect me and whatever. And she's like, you don't know what we had. What we had was real. You don't know what we talked about, which is not Banana's place to say that. But, I mean, it's kind of what he does.
Yeah.
And then it cut back to her. And, again, she's kind of crying in the confessional. And then at one point, right before the credits, it shows her like a completely different day. Like, dressed in, like, a sweater, and her hair looks different. And she's just, like, picking flowers against the wall. Man. The only thing, like, that's such a, like, cliche thing from, like, Hannah was saying, it was, oh, that's what they do in romance movies. The only movie I ever remember seeing that in is The Little Rascals.
Oh, yeah.
When Alfalfa does, like, 100 flowers.
Over Darla.
Yeah. And, so that's how they ended. Like, they did, like, a slow-mo of her picking the petals off of a flower, and then it fades to black. It was, like, executive producer Justin Booth.
Well, and, you know, it worked out for the best, you know, because now Jordan's with Tori, which seems to be a great relationship.
Yeah, they seem to be completely happy and, like, you know, doing their own thing.
And Laurel's going to be on the next season of X on the Beach with her ex, Nicole.
X on the Peak.
Okay, they just announced another X, too. Like, Nicole has, like, 4 X's on this show.
Yeah, which, by the way, we are spoiler-free for the challenge. This is not challenge-related.
No.
Yeah, it is, like, there are, like, 4 people that are on that season.
They're Nicole's exes.
Yeah, and by the way, that is a weird show for Laurel. I don't remember if we talked about that on air. Like, Laurel's always been like, oh, I'm here to compete. I'm here to win, and I like to win, and I like to beat people, and the money's great. This is more of a show for the sake of being on a show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything against the people who do that. Like, clearly we love Marie and Devin, whatever they're on X on the Beach right now.
Yeah, man.
But that's not Laurel's scene.
No.
You know? Like, she's not, like, getting on Twitter to, like, fight with people and, you know, play up stuff. It's just weird.
Really odd.
And it's also, like, kind of going back to your thing, like, confronting one of her exes. Because whenever they had that, like, confrontation with Nicole on whatever season it was, when Laurel came back as, like, a mercenary or something, it was real awkward.
Super awkward.
And, like, this is just going to be, like, prolonged versions of that. And that just doesn't, to me, like, we don't know Laurel. Like, we've emailed her a few times back and forth, but, like, we've not sat down and talked with her.
Yeah.
And so we just know what we have based on the show, and that just doesn't seem like her scene to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll watch it. We love Marie. We haven't watched X on the Beach yet.
I don't know that we have time to watch X on the Beach.
We got a lot going on right now.
We're fans, though.
Yeah.
Shout out to Marie and Devin, man. We hope things work out.
They're the only reason I would watch X on the Beach. And so, yeah, it's just a weird thing. Not really much happened. They do all these weird things after the credits. Basically, it was just like Devin and a bunch of girls doing makeup in Johnny's room, and he's like, filming them with a little flip camera.
The only other thing is Devin with the good zinger at the end.
What'd she say?
Said, they say pride comes before the fall.
It wasn't a good zinger.
But pride came before the wall.
And everyone's like,
It's a little creative.
Yeah.
It's a little creative. I bet Han loved it.
I bet Hannah loved it. So yeah, let's get into Hannah's notes real quick.
Man, give it to us.
Let's
give it to us good.
Just one page, which is small for her.
Oh, wow.
By the way, at the very top, she didn't know I was going to read her notes.
Okay.
She just wrote sick. So she's sick. She wants herself to know that she's sick before she starts this. Because again, she just put this down and left.
Yeah.
Free Agents episode 7, 8/6/19. She put the date.
Dated it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is official.
All right, here we go.
I'm going to laminate this now.
I'm going to just run through these and you kind of give me your take on them.
Okay.
At the end of the day, sweetness is what gets Laurel. These are chronologically, by the way. Okay. I guess this was when they were talking, her and Jordan.
They're in the pool.
Yeah. Bananas is back to making fun of Jordan's disability openly. Parentheses, boo.
Okay.
Which he did. He did do that.
No, it's not cool. Yeah. I'm with her on that.
Teresa is bad talking Devin to Anissa. Bad talking. You know?
Is that what she calls it?
Yeah.
Bad talking.
Yeah. Kohutta once again has...
Hold on. Do you ever bad talk her?
Oh, all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because you're triggered.
Yeah. I got to find something.
Yeah.
And she's the closest thing to me when I wake up, so I'm start off the day with that.
With bad talking.
Yeah, just come downstairs, let the dogs out, tell them how much she sucks. Kohutta once again has faith in his little girl Nani, which he did. Which this is the season that they do him dirty, right?
I don't remember.
We'll get. It's been a while since we watched this one. I could do this daily if I was tied up, but definitely not saran wrapped like this.
Why could she do it tied up?
I don't know. You have more mobility if you're tied up because you're not as confined.
Okay.
I don't. Again, we don't have any context for these.
Yeah.
Maybe she had a thing she was gonna elaborate on. Who knows? Tamara the wig was a winner because she was a brave headpiece.
Okay.
This challenge is a hot mess, literally. There was a comma there. It's
is literally in all caps?
It's not. I'll let you know when it's all caps. Okay. Zach is absolutely freaking out. But still got second place. Preston is TJ's favorite, so it's not just me. Is this the day we finally see JVB?
What is that?
I'm guessing Jordan versus Bananas.
Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it says J, but it does say J versus B.
What do they call those? An anagram?
Yeah, it's an anagram.
Is that what it's called?
Abbreviation?
Oh, is that it?
It's not an
There's
anagram.
There's not a word for that.
I don't know.
What's an anagram?
Isn't that where it's like you have the word like good, but it's like...
So there's a word for G, a word for O, a word for O. Okay.
I don't know why I picked good, but...
what would your anagram be for good?
What is the context?
Get out of dogs.
yeah, just in general, get out of dogs. If you're in a dog, get out of it. Yeah. This is a quote. Jordan's major handicap isn't his hand. It's his pride. CT.
Did she write, this is a quote?
No.
Oh, you just said...
I just wanted you to know it was in quotes. I should have said in quotes.
All right.
Boy, Laurel is being super harsh to Anissa.
No? Was she?
I guess because she was like, I'm not buying it. This isn't real.
Well, she shouldn't have bought it. It was goofy.
Yeah. Jordan got what he wanted. Laurel and Johnny voted Bananas in. Everybody is so excited about Jordan pulling all the cards. Jordan's pride and character is worth $125,000, 100%. Leroy is going to DM Jordan as soon as he gets home, which that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Bananas, arrow pointed into Jordan, which I don't know what that means. Okay, well, she wrote this very strange.
Okay,
these are her superlatives for the night. Because she wrote it above, you see here. And so I thought it was a note. So we'll get into superlatives for the night. Who smashed some heads? And Hannah said, Bananas into Jordan.
With an arrow.
Yeah, so Bananas smashed Jordan's head.
All right.
So what's yours?
Who smashed? Yeah, you know what? Laurel smashed Anissa's head.
Okay.
For that goofy little turn she tried to make.
I'm going to go with Jordan smashed his own head.
Okay.
Because even though I appreciate pulling all the cards when you say you're going to pull all the cards, he failed. He didn't, he said, can't make myself a liar, something along those lines. But he did. He lost today. He didn't send Bananas home. So that's it. So who got their head smashed? I'll read Hannah's first. That's what I was doing. Tamara the wig is.
Is?
Yeah. I don't know. Who got their head smashed? Tamara the wig is.
Oh, okay.
That's the last note I have. So who got their head smashed, Jake?
Who got their head smashed? Well, I don't want to say Anissa.
And I kind of said Jordan in the last one.
Okay. Let's just say Pride got its head smashed.
Just in general.
Pride in general.
Yeah. That's not a bad one. I'm gonna say this is a tough one because there's not a lot that a lot happened, but not a lot happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In this episode, it was basically Anissa and Laurel, and then Bananas and Jordan, and that was it. I'm gonna say
Preston's bones.
No, you already said yours. This one's mine.
I did.
I'm gonna go with Devin.
Okay.
Because she tried to make that stripper boobs joke.
Yeah, that's a good one. Didn't land.
And it did, and then her hair fell out.
That's right.
So that's kind of two things.
Double whammy.
Yeah, that's the correct use of that. You've said it wrong so many times.
Have I?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Two bad things.
I was going to say maybe I'm thinking of the game show Press Your Luck. But,
that is Press Your Luck.
But it's even bad then.
Yeah. That's why I always said it's bad.
To get a whammy.
Yeah, that's the thing.
A double whammy's even worse.
That's the thing you're trying to avoid.
The double whammy takes your money.
Ooh, not just lose a turn.
One whammy, you lose a turn, and you get 4 whammies. All right, you get 4 whammies, you're out of the game.
Is this show even on anymore?
It is. You know who hosts it?
No.
Elizabeth Banks.
Really?
Yep.
I mean, it's probably easy money for her, man.
One of the more fun game shows around, though.
I mean, that was a show from the 70s.
Well, and then it came back in the mid-2000s.
Like on Game Show Network.
Yep.
That's what I was asking.
I love watching Game Show Network, man. It's fun. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You're the guy when nobody's home watching Family Feud with Steve Harvey.
No, I will watch the YouTube versions of that sometimes. But I do like game shows.
Yeah.
But Game Show Network, like the original programming, kind of sucks sometimes.
Like the old Tommy ones.
No, I would rather have that than some of the like new versions of like kind of rip-offs of other games. There
are some that like you forget about that were really good. Like there was that one Weakest Link.
Yeah, with the mean
British lady.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Yeah. I literally just said the same thing you did.
Interesting little game show, man.
Yeah, I think it was a British show to begin with.
Yeah.
Hannah and I watched a clip on YouTube of this guy on it was a British show. And basically it's something about golden balls or something. And
was this another Polly reference?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so there's 2 contestants and there's a host. And when they get to the end of the game, we only saw the last clip. They have to decide secretly if they're going to split the money or if one of them's going to take it. And what happens is they talk it out and they're like, listen, I would never take the money from you. Rivals 3-ish. Hey, we're both going to walk away. It's like $100,000. We're both going to walk away $50,000. We're good to go. And here's the catch. If they both pick share secretly, they split the money.
Okay.
If one picks steal and one picks share, whoever picks steal keeps the money. If they both pick steal, nobody gets anything. So we were watching this one.
Oh man, what was that called? I remember that now.
I don't know. I'd never seen it before. This was a British show.
Yeah.
And it was something about golden balls, and they each select a ball, and the guys plead like, listen, we're both gonna walk out of here with $50,000, and the girl's like, are you sure? Please don't do this to me. Don't I gotta trust you. And he's like, no, I would never do that. 100,000 would be nice. He's like, but I'm happy with $50,000. We're both gonna get that. And she's like on the verge of tears almost. And then they pick, and then she stole the money from him, and he just hangs his head on the table and just starts crying. And
oh man,
it was like, and the host is like, oh well, he's like, that's how it goes. Like, sorry.
Thank you for joining us on
golden balls or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a neat little twist. But that's a tough game.
Yeah.
I don't even remember why we started talking about that. You said double whammy. That's what it was.
That's right.
Wow, it's starting to thunderstorm here pretty bad.
You sound scared.
No, I just don't. Do you remember not a couple weeks ago, but a few months ago, like we were recording and the power went out and we lost about 5 minutes of audio, but luckily it saved most of it.
We thought it was all gone.
Yeah.
We were like 45 minutes in, and I was real mad.
And it was like Wednesday at like 11:45.
Yeah, it was late.
So yeah, again, like we said at the top of the show, we have some things in the works that we'll probably be announcing soon. And on top of that, if you're not subscribed to our Patreon, things like that, we got a lot of new content pumping out of there, and we're going to actually be doing some new stuff. Me and you specifically, we're talking this week about tweaking some things for Patreon, things like that.
Yep.
So it's something we like doing. It's fun for us, and we get a lot of feedback from it. And one thing we're doing actually is a fantasy football league with our patrons.
That's right.
And it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. I stopped doing fantasy football last year.
Yep.
Even though me and you have been doing it together for 8-9 years, something like that. Just with the podcast and a bunch of other stuff going on, I just was like, I don't have time for it. But I'm going to give it a go again this year. I think Hannah's going to try. Unless she won't keep up with the lineups, then she's not going to be able to do it. But we'll kind of see how it goes. We like to do a lot of stuff with our patrons because, those people are supporting the show directly. Yeah. And without them, we couldn't do what we do. So shout out to those guys, patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast. And, you got anything else you want to plug? We'll be recording a new Redemption House, which is our Patreon exclusive podcast, sometime soon.
Yeah, no, I think I'm good. It's exciting time. I said that right. Exciting times here.
Yeah, and we'll kind of dig a little deeper into what that means on Patreon on that podcast when we do it, maybe this weekend.
Just gotta get some things finalized.
Yep. Have to have some people look over some stuff, and then we'll make some announcements from there. But
we're believers in confirmation before conversation.
I don't know if you've ever thought about that before.
Though I guess you have to have the conversation before you have confirmation.
So we have to have conversations with certain people, but
when it comes to you guys,
the listeners,
we're confirming before we're conversing.
Yeah, this is a very messy analogy.
Well, I'm just trying to rhyme. I'm known for my rhymes.
I don't think that's true. So, by the way, if you're not following us, like I said at the top of the show, on social media and all that, we post on there typically before things happen or when we're going live about stuff, which we haven't done a lot recently in the off season, but we're going to start trying to get back in the swing of that. But as we get out of here with Boys Night, as the thunder and the rain is picking up,
fitting,
just remember, get out of dogs.
Good. Have a good night, everyone.
A get out of dogs night, everyone.
Yeah.
Let your feelings to God.